You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 48 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your co-host Luke Millette, and here's your host Jim Chester to tell you about our guest.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Eric Plasker, and if you're interested in understanding how you are going to advance in life to be around 100 years old, listen to his talk on the 100-year lifestyle. What is your chiropractic story and what influenced you to become a chiropractor?
I'm blessed to have a unique, like all of us, I guess, chiropractic story, but it's not really unique. It just happened to me. That made it unique for me. Hurt myself playing football. I was 15 years old, had a big red afro at the time. It didn't lessen the impact of the hit. Knocked me out. I ended up being taken to the hospital where I was told by the best orthopedist medical people in the area, Spring Valley, New York, that, hey, you know what, you afro-headed dude, you can't play for 30 days, take these drugs. I looked at my mother. I said, Mom, got to find me an answer. This is just not acceptable. And she said, well, let's try a chiropractor. And the next day I went to see Ernie Landi in Spring Valley, New York. I'm sure that you know him. Great guy, good friend, still a client, good friend today. And the rest is history. Immediately got up off the table, played that afternoon without any pain, drank the Kool-Aid right from day one, Jim Chester. It was great. I wanted to help a lot of people. I learned because of what Ernie Landi taught me about chiropractic, the human body, the body's innate intelligence, and he was at one point a professional athlete. He taught me about not just the benefits of chiropractic care to feel better, but he also taught me about the benefits of chiropractic care from a performance perspective and a lifetime perspective. So it became a passion, a drive, and a lifelong commitment.
That's fantastic. So what would you say makes you unique in the chiropractic world? What are some things you're doing that everybody else isn't exactly doing?
Wow, that's a great question. I think what makes what we're doing unique is we are delivering a focused message to the world. There are so many chiropractors that are out there, great chiropractors, great people, all good friends of mine. We all get together in rooms and we talk a lot to each other. We build each other up. We pat each other on the back. We make each other feel great about what we're doing, and we should feel great about what we're doing. And we have certainly done that, and we're a part of that. But I think what makes us unique is we are talking to the world. We have created a paradigm for the world that is unique. The 100-year lifestyle has branded what a lot of us are saying for the people in a way that gets people to understand the importance of chiropractic care as a part of a healthy lifestyle, that it is essential to have chiropractic care, a healthy nervous system, a healthy spine as a part of a healthy lifestyle, especially because the fastest growing segment of the population, as you may already know, Jim, are 100-year-old people. We're in a unique time in history, Jim, I believe, and that's why I love when non-chiropractors like you are out there hustling, man, trying to change so many lives. It's a unique time in history. What got us here won't get us there. And to me, there is the entire planet living at their full potential. I'm wearing a shirt here, 100% for 100 years, living at 100% throughout their entire lifetime, functioning at their highest level. And that means that especially in this sick, toxic, abusive world that we live in, so many of us that are exposed to those things, chiropractic care becomes a priority. So we're telling the story to the people. We're targeting everyone's why. We've built technology around it, and we are relentless in pursuit of the vision. So I think that makes us unique, and we're poets. I'm a poet, and I just discovered it. I was going to say I didn't even know it, but that would be too corny. And so I like writing poetry that's chiropractic-based, neurology-based, people-based poetry that brings people to the big idea.
I think that's going to be your poll quote.
What's that?
I'm a chiropractic poet.
Very good. Well, it's a lot of fun. I didn't know I had it in me. I wrote a chiropractic world years ago. If you don't have it, I'll send you one. It's a picture of my son and daughter, my oldest son and daughter, holding hands, walking on the beach when they were like 4 and 3. And I'll read it real quick. I'm staring at it. It says, "I live in a chiropractic world, a world free from drugs and disease, a world free from pain and suffering, a world free from poverty and war, a world free from anger and hostility, a world free from chemical imbalance and ill mental health, a world free from vertebral subluxation. I live in a chiropractic world, a world full of love and happiness, a world full of health and vitality, peace and harmony, children laughing and playing, prosperity and vision, life and energy. I live in a chiropractic world." And I wrote it back in 1994. It's probably in 4,000 or 5,000 chiropractic offices around the world. And that's the first one of probably 30 that we have that are really nicely made and hanging in lots of offices in a lot of places.
Oh, that's cool, man. I didn't know that. It's very unique. So when we ask that question, what's unique that you do? That's very unique.
Cool. Well, let me know if you want to hear another one. I'll throw another one at you.
So what would we have to do if we wanted that hanging in our studio?
Give me your address.
Done.
Done.
We'll send you over an address and we'll hang that in our studio. And everybody that watches us live will see that hanging.
In fact, I'll send you a couple. You'll enjoy them. I have one called The Purposeful Willing. I have one called Where Does Quit Fit? That's just strictly, those are motivational. The Purposeful Willing is very chiropractic centered. Where Does Quit Fit is just pure motivation.
Well, we have a full hallway here at our new place that needs some good information down it. So we'll make sure that we position them properly and where we can definitely have some motivation as we walk between rooms.
Cool.
So oddly enough, that actually leads us right into the next question. What are some of your favorite quotes or mantras that help you with your commitment as a chiropractic leader?
I think my favorite mantra is our vision, which is lifetime care for everyone. We believe that everyone deserves to be healthy and express their full potential from the time they are born through their last breath of life, and that chiropractors should be leading healthcare in the world. And it drives us every day. One of the things that people will often hear me say at one of the many seminars that I speak at is that our vision is people lining up for chiropractic care the way they used to line up for shots and drugs, that we're not having to scramble individually to just hopefully get enough new patients and patient visits to cover our overhead or buy a shirt, but that we literally have created lines of people, just like people used to line up for shots and drugs, that we have created lines. It was interesting when I was in an airport somewhere in some city, I don't remember where it was, and I saw there was a woman standing in a booth outside of a gate, and she had a big sign. It said, "Flu shots here, $25. And there was a line, and it really made me mad, as you can imagine, because we know that this whole flu shot thing and most of this vaccination stuff that's out there is based on lies, false science, fake news, fake science. And it was very frustrating to me. And then what really hit home for me and got me motivated even more to get better every day at the work that I do, that we do here at the Family Practice and the 100-Year Lifestyle, is that I looked at the person that was delivering the flu shot. And I thought to myself, you got to be kidding me. This person couldn't even get a job in a gas station.
Well,
she had a line. And it made me really mad because in our profession, as you know, guys, that we live, we work harder on ourselves. We're like personal development junkies. We work harder on ourselves than any 10 professions combined. When some new guru comes along and they have a new something, program, product, or whatever, the first target group is chiropractors. And yet we have the best service, the best product, and this woman had a line, and she was not working on herself at all. And what it taught me is that our packaging as a profession is terrible, quite honestly. We have what I affectionately call a chiropractic crap box out there, CRAP. People have no idea who we are and what we do. They think they do, and they're wrong. And if you asked, and I do this often during my talks also, if you ask chiropractors to stand up in everybody in a room and give your best 30-second elevator speech, you know what it sounds like? When they all get up at the same time, it's like blah, 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 blah. And that's what we sound like in the world, and it's a problem for us. And it's a problem. My kids, those 2 kids in that poster that I talked about that are chiropractors today, my 3rd child, my wife and I getting ready to be married 30 years next month, our 3 kids, all 3 becoming chiropractors, choosing it for themselves. And we have done a lousy job, in my opinion, in the world of creating a collective why for chiropractic care, a healthy spine and nervous system out in the world. And it is a problem. And when I say, like I said earlier, what got us here won't get us there, that's one of the main things that I'm talking about. We've got to get great at talking to the people and do it with collective energy. And it's very difficult to get all the different factions and associations and organizations to agree on that message. So we took it upon ourselves. When you talk about unique mantras and commitments with the 100-year lifestyle, we have branded lifetime care for the people. We know that 100-year-old people are the world's fastest growing group, and it's going to continue through 2050. And whether you like it or not, want to or not, whether you have an opinion about it or not, whether you care or not, the demographics are clear that people are living longer than ever, but they're not living better longer. They're deteriorating longer. And a lot of it has to do with that they're not taking care of their spine, their nervous system as a priority. And you know this, guys. You're out there hustling out there in the world, doing your thing, which we appreciate so much. People have so many misconceptions about what we do, and we are losing people to the lifestyle industry because they don't know that it includes and that it should include chiropractic care. So we branded it in a way where it cannot be diluted. It has to include, at least in this model, chiropractic care. And we've created an amazing, impeccable package for doctors so that they can just roll it in with 100% congruency and get lots of people under care.
And you know what makes me really upset? We live right next door to a grocery store, and they have a sign out front that says, "Get a flu shot and feed a child." So now they're kind of like playing on our emotions and kind of guilt tripping us into getting these shots because we feel like if we don't, then a kid's going to go hungry. It's like, that's not fair.
It's not only not fair, in my opinion, in many ways, it's deceiving. It's evil in many ways. And, you say, well, feeding a child, that's not evil. That could never be evil. I understand that. But at the same time, when you look at autism rates and you look at the number of autoimmune disorders that are running rampant in our society, we have a lot of content that we provide for doctors through our websites that we provide and the 100-Year Lifestyle package that we provide, and it's also on 100yearlifestyle.com. And one of them, it's an epidemic of neurological disorders is the title of the article. It's been very popular. It's had like 40,000 views. And what's interesting is they say something like this. We quoted a medical doctor who said that there are about 30,000 chemicals on the planet today that did not exist 50 years ago. Something like that. I probably got the numbers wrong, but you could see it if you go to the article. And why is that important? These are man-made chemicals that have not been tested. Many of them are drugs. Most of them are drugs and pesticides, and it's an assault on our nervous systems, which means that because they are sprayed in the air, in the atmosphere, and sprayed all over our crops and all over the food, the assault on our nervous systems is extraordinary. And so chiropractic care as a part of a lifestyle becomes more important than ever. And I think that because it's what we do for ourselves and our families anyway, and we live with that kind of congruency anyway, it's time that we start preaching what we practice and make it the norm, and not just for a 5 or 10% of our population that we're seeing, when it should be everybody instead of just a small percentage. It needs to become the norm.
Absolutely. So what would you say you'd be able to accomplish if more people knew about your cause? Like what's possible in the future with what you're doing right now?
With a focused message to the planet that was congruent with how we utilize the care. And also, by the way, we have a research project that we're doing with Life University where we are the City Williams Research Department, where we are surveying patients through doctors' offices. They're patient-based, some lifetime patients. Really, you do it through you survey people through over a period of time. So you'll have just crisis care people and the lifestyle care people. You offer it up to everybody. That's an important part of the study and the way to do it. And so research beats ranting. So I could tell you that with that, as well as getting research, that if the results of the research support what I believe we might find is that people under lifetime care do not decline with age. Chiropractic care do not decline with age. We saw some of that in the pilot study that got published. It showed the need for a grander scale study, which that's a part of what we're doing right now. We're excited to be working with Life University on this. And what's cool about it is that you take the research that if it says what we think it's going to say, and you support that, even without that, with a common message out to the world, there's a lot that we can accomplish. I mean, we had, just to give you some perspective, with just our small number of people, relatively speaking, that are using the 100-year lifestyle as a model, as a complete package to educate people about the importance of the nervous system as a part of a healthy lifestyle and chiropractic care. We have had in just the last about 4 years, Jim and Luke, we've had over 10 million article views. Over 10 million views. That's articles. That doesn't include homepage views. That doesn't include about us views, technique views, services views, or anything. That's just articles. 10 million views. Not to mention the hundreds of millions of media impressions that we have gotten over the years, not just me, but our people getting out there and getting published with this message. And you say, well, that's just not enough. And you're right, it's just not enough, but it's millions more than any other individual message, I believe. And it's at a timely, it's timely because we live in a world where in every community, I know you moved to Arizona, you're still in Denver.
We moved to the other side of the state of Colorado called Grand Junction.
Okay, love Grand Junction. Got a good friend there, Randy Roman, one of our clients, really good guy. And so when you look around, not just Grand Junction, but you look around any small city, big city, town, there are assisted living centers popping up all over the place. And the powers that be, or the medical monopoly and big pharma, they understand that we have aging populations, and what's happening is that the people that are your age and my age, I'm my mid-50s, I'm not sure you guys are younger than I am, but we're moving our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents close to us so that we could look after them, so we can make sure they're not going to be suffering from assisted living center abuses that are rampant and are reported all over the place. And they're popping up everywhere because people are moving their families closer to home so they can look after them. And so the evidence of what we're talking about is everywhere. And these people, they're not living to 80, 90, 100 years and beyond. Most of them are rotting away and decaying in the last decades of their life, while we also see people that are breaking marathon records at 100 years old and sprint records at 100 years old and swimming records at 100 years old, and a 103-year-old World War II veteran that went to and flew to Hawaii because he wanted to participate in the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor with the families of the people who lost loved ones in that horrible, tragic circumstance. And so we're the first generation in history that's getting this advance notice. So this generation needs leadership. And that's why it's important that as leaders, we have to understand that what got us here won't get us there. We need to understand that research beats ranting, and common focused messages in a group effort matter. We're fortunate that because we've never wavered from our vision, we could supply the resources of this for literally less than what most chiropractors will pay to try and get search engine optimization somewhere. They get an entire package of everything, and we can do it that way because we've not had to raise the prices. We just keep adding resources without having to raise the price. And so it's exciting, the opportunity. It does concern me a little bit that we are caught on a treadmill that we are still very personality based. We put our grandest, most vocal personalities on a pedestal. I can be a very strong personality. We have always worked very hard to put our messages and our brands and our conversations ahead of me and my name and our company's name, just because we know that that's the way to duplicate success. We've been very fortunate because we've done it that way to help duplicate success for over 6,000 chiropractors, helping them grow by over $1 billion over the last 20 years since we've been helping chiropractors. And I got to tell you, now that my kids are in the game, we've never been more focused and more committed than ever. And the opportunity's never been greater than ever. So I'm excited for all the chiropractors that are on the line that want to help more people and grow and reach out and make a difference.
Well, listening to a lot of what you said really turns my gears, and I'm going to tic-tac-toe around a little bit. And earlier when you were talking, it sounded like you were making reference to B.J. Palmer's Utopia. And I thought that was pretty cool that you were talking about like a chiropractic world through the poem where people got adjusted and life was better because they're getting adjusted type, conversation. But I think one of the reasons that makes what you do so relevant and such an amazing process is because you did brand really well. And I think branding is one of the things that the chiropractic profession has suffered with. Because like you did say, so many chiropractic clinics want to say, hey, I'm Dr. XYZ and I'm awesome and this is my chiropractic brand. Well,
yeah. And what we've done, because I understand that part of it. And listen, doctors went to school. They are doctors and they're chiropractors. And I love all chiropractors. And, we've done this in such a way where you don't have to give up your identity. You don't have to become a franchise. You don't have to sell out. You own your own business. You keep 100% of your business, your income, and your growth. You keep all the money. You take care of the people. We won't even tell you how to do it clinically. But to have a common message is super, really important. And hey, to go off of that B.J. Palmer quote, one of his favorite quotes, or everybody's favorite quotes, you never know how far reaching that something you think, say, or do today will impact the lives of millions tomorrow. And then he also said, get the big idea and all else follows. But with all due respect, I believe he forgot to tell us one thing, Jim. Can I share it?
We'd love to hear it.
He said, get the big idea and all else follows. What he forgot to tell us is that all else requires work. You got to go to work. You got to go to work to make a difference. It's not just going to happen spontaneously just because you got the big idea. You got to do the work.
Well, honestly, that's one of the things that is the tenet of our future as a team is we are doing the work and we are interviewing everybody that we can possibly make an impact with and unifying this chiropractic profession. And I think that that's one of the things that has been in the wavelengths recently is let's get more unity in the profession, but let's also build a stronger knowledge that chiropractic is not only universal, but it's international. And it's not just your neighborhood that matters. It's the people that when they do a Google search of chiropractic is, like what Steve Tullius is doing, chiropractic is amazing. Chiropractic is life-changing. Here's a poem for you. Chiropractic can change the course of humanity. Chiropractic is the one thing that no one else understands like we do. I guess that's the major premise for me. And, B.J. Palmer, once again, here we go. Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and advertise. And I think that that's what we're doing is when we realized how important the message of chiropractic was to the advancement of humanity, then we started to realize how important it was for us to focus our attention on something that once people start to understand consumer grade, that chiropractic is the thing to be doing for them and their families, that we're going to be on the front line of it and everybody's going to be like, how do I catch up with those guys? How do I start helping chiropractic? Well, you could have done it for the past decade like we're doing. You could have done it like what Dr. Eric Plasker's been doing for the past, XYZ years. You could have been doing it before it became cool. And I think that that's really what we're on the front lines of, is we're taking the chiropractic message, making it consumer grade to where people are eventually going to be like, those guys were ahead of their time.
Yeah, and I like what you said. I like, how you say consumer grade. Our version of that is target everyone's why. I think what's really important in our profession, we're so busy trying to find ourselves and find our own why. And the reality of it is I really don't think anybody cares what your why is unless you make your why relevant to their why. When our why starts to talk to everyone else's why, the planet's going to be under chiropractic care. We have seen that when we can target, not symptoms, we can target groups of people, athletes, moms, pregnant women, kids, families, CEOs, blue-collar workers. And by targeting everyone's why, who they are, with relevant messages, it has really been amazing. It's the key to 10 million views. I can tell you that right now. It's a key to the 10 million article views, because the more we target everyone's why, the more people start to just click around. Like, I'll give you an example. And I said this earlier, people, on some level, I think people only care what chiropractic is if we make chiropractic relevant to them. And the more we make it relevant to them, the more they want to click around and learn more. I was just looking at one of our clients who uses a lot of these articles, and the average person clicks around and clicks 6 articles per person on his website. So, most doctors that I have spoken to, when we do our homework and do our research, people are going and they go to their homepage and then they disappear, or they go to the second page and they disappear. So if people are clicking around 6 and 7 times on six and 7 different articles, they're obviously getting a taste of something that is relevant to them individually. And I think that's a great take-home point for everybody. Whether you're using an article or you're using having a conversation, don't just be about what's important to you, but target everyone's why. Make what you do and what you're saying relevant to them, and they're more inclined to, number 1, remember it, number 2, take action on it, and number 3, advocate for you, because they know you're not just about yourself, but you're about helping them.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Movewell University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle.
So we know you have the 100-year lifestyle program and branding, which I think is amazing. Everyone should live to be 100. But where do you see the chiropractic profession going in 20 years?
Well, that's a great question. I think there's a lot of possibilities with that question. I think that we're going to have to grow up a little bit and mature a little bit in the way we see each other. I think we're going to have to learn to get along with each other. It's interesting that we need to refer to each other, I believe. There's a saying that, at least in my mind, if I have my say-so and any input on where it goes, and I would love to have those 20 years or 30 years or 40 years to contribute to that. I'm one of these guys, can't ever see myself retiring. I'm very passionate about my work and what I do in this profession. But there's an expression that we will often say that it goes like this. Tell me if you've heard it. Chiropractic first, chiropractic first, drug second, surgery last. Have you heard that?
Oh yeah, that's the model of least invasive to most invasive.
Okay, very good. And so while a lot of chiropractors agree with that, I completely disagree with that. Here's my version. You want to hear it?
Love to.
Chiropractic first, chiropractic second, chiropractic third, chiropractic fourth with drugs when necessary, chiropractic fifth with surgery when necessary. And why is that important and different? if the body is self-healing and self-regulating, and if we believe that if there is interference that the body begins to break down, and that if you remove the interference that the body has the ability to heal itself, I totally believe that. We've raised our family that way. My kids, chiropractors, 28, 26, 24, never had a shot. They've grown up healthy, thank God, and we've been very blessed in that way. There have been times when, as their primary chiropractor, that they have needed a different type of care. My daughter, when she was a baby, she responded to toughness care. My wife, she was going through a time where my Gonstead Diversified, which I believe I do an excellent job at, she needed some upper cervical work. She needed some atlas orthogonal work. There have been times where I have had injuries where I needed, instead of, and I like to be manually adjusted most of the time, and there have been times where I've needed activator work. And I believe that we need to look at each other and our principle and what we do in this type of way, so that we take our ego out of the way. And yes, we should have pride in the work that we do and be proud of the adjustment style that we have, but know that we can't be all things to all people. And if what we did didn't work for a person, that there might be another chiropractor with a different style that has, or a different technique that might be right for that particular patient at that particular time, and knowing that we can do that and not necessarily lose that patient. And we can't be afraid to lose. And that's why I think lifetime care for everyone becomes such an important concept, because we stop functioning out of fear and truly can embrace the service piece of what we do. And, you know, it's interesting. I had a patient one time that she went and had surgery. She ended up coming back, and she's still a patient today. So even if the patient doesn't respond, I tried to refer her to 2 different chiropractors. She went to one other. She didn't respond. She didn't want to go to the third one. She ended up having the surgery. She came back. She's still under care. Her family's still under care. I think if we elevate our consciousness in this way, it really changes things. And another question that I have asked many times in front of audiences, which is another reason why I think this is important, is that I've asked the question, raise your hand if you've ever had a patient, doctors, come to you after seeing another chiropractor. They didn't get results, but they came to you and they got results from the chiropractic care that you provided. And what percentage of the room do you think raises their hand?
Not sure.
100%.
No, that's a lot.
Yeah, and so then my next statement is, and see, you thought you were the only one. We have to have that understanding that just because we're great at our technique, it doesn't mean that necessarily that we're right for everyone. There are so many people out there that need what we have to offer, and we need to refer to each other and take care of each other, and not act like we're the only game in town, but act like we are an industry, we are a profession that has a principle that is so necessary for the world, especially at this critical moment in history.
Well, you said something right there that makes a lot of sense to me, and most people understand a good analogy. And I think that the chiropractic profession needs to learn how to be on the offense and on the defense without getting their feelings hurt. And I think that they also need to learn how to be on the offense and the defense when handling people's objections towards chiropractic. And I think that a lot of times chiropractic just wants to be on offense. And then when somebody actually challenges them, they have to go on defense. And then they don't know how to really articulate what it is to be a chiropractor and support themselves.
Yeah, it's so true. And I'm going to add something to what you said so eloquently there. It's not just offense and defense, but it's also special teams. And the special teams is learning how to work together, learning how to, from a special teams perspective, and you brought something, handling objections. I think a big challenge that the crap box that we have created as an industry, or that is out there that our enemies have created about us, it's a combination of both, and how we put ourselves out in the world, we cause the questions. We cause the questions through our ranting in many ways, and we cause the questions that are frustrating that we have to deal with, because I believe in so many ways we act like, well, the problem gets them in and the principle keeps them in. Well, I don't know that I mean, that is true to some level, but I also believe that the principle gets them in and the principle keeps them in if you package it for the people. And if you change your packaging and how you communicate, most of the objections just vanish into thin air. I can't even tell you how many times people will say to me, well, Dr. Plasker, how do you answer this objection from a patient and this question? And I'm like, wow, nobody ever asked me that. And they're like, really? I'm like, really? Nobody ever asked me that. And I think that's a big, exciting piece of when you change the paradigm of how you communicate and you look at the world differently, so many of the questions that frustrate us day to day just vanish. And then a new series of questions come up, like, here's the question. Well, what does this mean to me? And how do I participate in this? And how often do I need to come? So we literally are on the verge of eliminating the need for a report of findings because of a pre-day one education conversation that changes the questions and changes the demand. So we can go on and on forever, but it's exciting, stimulating conversation for sure.
Yeah, I think that you said something there that makes a lot of sense to me, is that we need to both have the offense, the defense, the special teams, but we also need to start realizing where the pain points in humanity are. And right now, pain points are people are over-medicated and they're sick from the over-medications. So if we don't all start talking the same language and coming together for a greater goal than our own outcomes, then the chiropractic profession isn't going to be able to take the front line to help with this huge, I'll just say it, the opiate addiction, the opiate crisis across running rampant through our communities. If the chiropractor doesn't start speaking the same language, then the legislation of our government won't realize that chiropractic is the answer for that at-risk population.
Yeah, so important. And that's why, what you're doing, your work is so vital, so important, getting it out to the people. So important, consumer grade, as you call it. We say taking it to the people. We call it peers versus people. It's great that we get that and we hang out with each other. I love to do that with my friends all over the world. But, man, I love talking to the people. They need us now more than ever. They are in desperate need of new healthcare leadership, and they are in desperate need of what we have to offer.
So what would you say in the last decade has been the most impactful thing in the chiropractic profession?
It's a great question. I don't think we've gotten there yet.
Well, what are some of your... Okay, go ahead.
I think that right now, I think that we're trying to find our footing with that. I don't know that I could put my finger on any one thing that has impact. I think if anything, what has been the most impactful thing for the chiropractic profession is that the allopathic world is destroying itself. The level of trust out there in the world has never been greater. The level of distrust of the status quo has never been more significant. It's created a wide open opportunity for our profession. But here's a reality that I think that we need to face, and I'm going to be honest, in my opinion, is that if medicine collapsed tomorrow, it would do absolutely nothing for the rise of chiropractic. It would do nothing for the rise of chiropractic. If we don't get a common message and a common voice to the people, then somebody else will pick up the slack and take it over. We have got to get to the people. To me, that is the single most important thing. Certainly, we've had some political victories here, there, and everywhere. It's great to see some of our political groups coming together. We've had some great changes in boards in different states, like California, for example, that has made a massive shift, in other states that have made a massive shift where we're winning battles on the state lines. I'm involved behind the scenes, like you probably are in many ways, working with those groups. And so I think that it's right for us right now to make some of those moves. And so we're excited about that opportunity, as I know you are, because, again, it is wide open.
Well, I appreciate the transparency and the honesty that you share with us, because I know that the people need it. It's enough for us to have good information and keep it to ourselves, but it's one thing to have the information and to be able to say, I am a leader and this is what I believe in, and you guys need to hear this. And I honestly think that that's something that's more needed now than ever, is people to, stand up for what they actually believe in and quit saying, damn it, why aren't we growing? Why don't more people utilize our services? Damn it, we're at 6%. Well, what are you going to do about it? That's what I want everybody to ask themselves. What are you going to do about it?
Well, we're certainly going to do our part, because I got to hustle as fast as you. And, you know what? I got to tell my kids becoming chiropractors has changed me. Not that I needed motivation, but what I do know is that traveling the world on behalf of the profession and the work that it can often be thankless. And it's a good thing I don't do it for the thanks. Although I do get so much support. I have friends all over the world, and I don't mean to, be negative about it. I have so much support, so many friends in so many places, and it's fantastic. But when my kids decided to become chiropractors, I've been in practice 33 years, Jim, 33 years. I am literally feeling like a kid in a candy store. We are by far more passionate than ever here at our organization working. I do a lot of volunteer work for the profession. As you know, it's exciting supporting this research project with Life University. I'm about to do this Friday night, my 27th or 28th Friday night talk at Life Leadership Weekend in front of 250 to 300 prospective students and their families. The ripple of this has been fantastic. There's a great team over there that brings them together. I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to be somewhat of the icing on that cake, even though everybody there is icing, quite honestly. It's amazing, people working really hard. And it's just, the more you give and the more you contribute and the more that you do, it's almost like the more you want to do. And knowing that my family has chosen this path and they chose it for themselves makes me realize that, you know what, we need to stop messing around, monkeying around, and collectively we need to do some real, serious, intense work. I can tell you that you're going to see with 100yearlifestyle.com, it's in the middle of a complete remake. It's going to blow your mind on how it communicates the value and the importance of our philosophy and principle to the world in a way that I think is purely speaking to the people that will make an impact. Our goal is to refer as many people as we can to chiropractors all over the world through this model. Anybody that wants to be a part of it, we'd love for you to contact us either by going to thefamilypractice.net or 100yearlifestyle.com. And I look forward to doing more with you guys.
Thank you.
The work that you're doing and the passion that you have for it is very motivating for a young old guy like me, and I don't feel old for a second, 55, like I said, younger and healthier and more excited than ever to be a chiropractor.
We love the support. Thank you.
So there's been a lot of discussion on this episode about bringing the message to the people, packaging it for the people. What are some of your key marketing strategies for getting the 100-year lifestyle to the ears and eyes of your community and also the rest of the world?
Well, I'll tell you what it is now and what it's going to be. It's evolving constantly. Like I said, this remake of 100yearlifestyle.com is going to be a key strategy. We're going to advertise it and market it through social media, through Google. So the people that are affiliated with us, that are helping to finance this vision, are going to benefit tremendously. We've built a web-based infrastructure for our clients. We provide inside and out a total package. And so when you ask me about marketing and technology, the single best, I think, marketing technology that we use is a total package. And so what I mean by that is all the web, social media, we provide the website, we provide the social media, we provide the internal communication, we provide the posters, we provide the report of findings, we have books. Everything says the same thing. There is no mishmash. There is no confusion. There is no hodgepodge. We have eliminated the hodgepodge, and we've done it for 1/10 of the price. And so the technology of that really makes a difference, because what happens is, because there is, in my opinion, out there in the world, again, a chiropractic crap box, a mishmash of confusion, what happens when there's confusion? Well, confused people don't decide. And so often chiropractors get a little bit from this place and a little bit from that place, and there's so many great things out there, which is what makes it so exciting. But sometimes lots of great things don't all fit together, even though they're all great. I mean, if you took a steering wheel from a Mercedes-Benz and brakes from a BMW and the body of a Bentley and et cetera, it would look weird and it might not work good, even though it was all quality stuff. And so we decided that we wanted to create a quality, total, complete package. And again, just being able to offer it at an amazing price has made a big difference. And so everything comes through this one central package. So for example, when you share something on social media, It's has your brand on it and a 100-year lifestyle brand. So it's a technology that brings a singular conversation. So whether the article or the resource is the lifetime effects of birth trauma, or Hunchbacks in the Hood, which talks about kids who are using technology and bent over and crooked, or maybe it's pregnancy or posture, and whatever it is that we utilize as that sick fit people is a huge article. There's so many people out there that are sick fit people. They have a six-pack in their belly, but they got a gym bag full of drugs. And so there's so many sick fit people. So whoever we target and however we share it, it's built to share in whatever the language or the social media of the day is. So who knows if Facebook is going to beat up Instagram, who's going to beat up Google, who knows going to win, who knows who's going to win in a fight in 5 years, right? But we know that if you have all this technology and you have all these resources, then you can point it wherever the world turns to continue to bring your focused message to attract and create lifetime patients. Whether they're in a crisis, then they need your help, or whether they want lifestyle care from day one or performance-based care, or they're ready to make a transition. And so inside and out, whether it's the report content, the ROF content, or consultation content, inside and out with a focused message, it just streamlines and simplifies everything. And I think we misunderstand marketing as chiropractors sometimes. We think that marketing is just advertising to get new patients. No, retention is the most important marketing thing that you could do. I heard Jeff Bezos say recently that Amazon doesn't do anything for the short term ever. Everything they do is long term. I heard Ray Dalio say, who Bridgewater and Associates wrote a great book, Principles. And he said that he chooses great and proven over cool any day of the week. I think for us, we've got it so backwards sometimes. We choose cool over great every day of the week, and that's a mistake. And so the retention piece of it is so vital to a practice. We've seen chiropractors grow by $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year just because they stopped losing so many patients. So I think the greatest technology that we have, that we use, is the package, because it just makes everything simpler. It streamlines the processes. It makes a 15-minute report 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. It makes a 10-minute visit 2 minutes, 5 minutes max, depending on your technique. And it just makes it easier for you and your staff to be on the same page. So to me, the ultimate marketing technology is getting new patients in that way and retaining them in that way, because you have a package that is congruent and says the same things throughout.
Well, now that we're on the topic of resources, we have the 100yearlifestyle.com, the familypractice.net. Are there any other social media links or websites where people can find you easier if they have questions?
Those are the best ones. You can like me on Facebook if you want to. I'd love to be your friend. It's full, so it'll probably tell you to follow me, and then we'll follow you back. And so all of those, like you said, are ways that we can stay in touch. Be on the lookout for a transformation. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but at some point, probably by June 1st, maybe July the latest, you will see a massive transformation that you will all love. So if you go there today and you think it's good, or you think it's okay, or you think it's great, whatever, it's going to be amazing come the next couple of months. We're really excited about what we're building. And again, because the vision has never wavered, it's going to stay aligned with this big vision of lifetime care for everyone, driving it in every single thing that we do.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see the updates. So we're getting ready to wrap up this episode with you, Dr. Plasker. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't ask you?
Yeah, there is. There's one other thing that I think is really important. I appreciate that you guys are not chiropractors, that you don't have a DC after your name, but that you love this profession to work hard on behalf of our profession, on behalf of all of us. And I admire that. I honor that. I respect that. And I think that every chiropractor should use your work ethic and your hustling as, I think, as an example of what they should be doing and how they should be pursuing what they do in their practices out in the world. Because, we oftentimes, as chiropractors, we're a little too egomaniac sometimes, is that, because we think because we're a DC that everybody else is inferior. And you know what? I put you guys way up on a pedestal, way up ahead of me and anybody else that does what I do, because you don't have to do this. You chose this as an advocate. And just so important, your work. I respect it. Keep it up, man, and keep leading by example and keep on hustling.
Well, we certainly are thankful for the recognition. And, I just, like off camera when we were discussing, chiropractic is essential for the advancement of the human species. And it's just that one missing link, I think, to get people more healthy. And I think that most people just don't know where to go or who to trust. So we have to bring it to them consumer grade to where they understand that, of course, chiropractic, of course I want my family to get adjusted. And it's not about their pain or their dysfunction or their lack of mobility or their lack of functionality. It's about keeping the nervous system clean.
Absolutely. And you know what? Because people are living longer than ever, people are looking at these aging assisted living center places. They're looking at their aging parents and grandparents. They're thinking to themselves, oh my God, I got those genes. Those are my genes. Oh my gosh, but I don't want to be like that. I need a leader. Show me a sign. Give me somebody to follow. And I'm telling you, if you understand the plight, that weight that is on people's spirits, consciously or unconsciously, and you understand how to connect with them on that level, then you will attract more kids, families, people for lifetime care effortlessly, because what we do is just the right thing and it just makes sense. We need to stop making it so complicated.
I couldn't have said it any better myself, sir. Well, that just about wraps up this episode of Chiro Hustle, and I personally want to thank you for being our guest today. This was one of my favorite episodes. I just have to say it was a lot of fun.
Awesome, man. Fun for me, too. Love and appreciate you guys so much. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, he never says that either, so thank you. Have a good day, Doc.
You too, guys.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.